Well, welcome back to Mobility Matters. I'm your host, Javier Betancourt, Executive Director of the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, or CITT. We're the quasi-independent agency of Miami-Dade County charged with overseeing your half-penny sales tax for transportation. We are coming to you here from the TPO's Transportation Industry Forum at the Downtown Hilton in this beautiful space. And I'm having a series of guests throughout the conference, but none cooler than my guest sitting to my left. This is David Dech. He is the Executive Director of the South Florida Regional Transportation Authority, SFRTA. Other people may just know you as TriRail.
None willing to come in this early in the morning. That's how I interpreted that, right?
Nobody, certainly not driving, but you took the train, I'm sure, and so you got here without a problem.
On time,
right?
No problems, exactly.
And the reason you can take TriRail to downtown is why?
Because we have that beautiful connection and the beautiful station that we share with Brightline in Miami Central, where we run our express train in the morning, and we also have the trains we run in all day long, and we encourage everyone to come out and give it a try and give it a shot. It's not a one-seat ride for most people yet, but it is. We make it as seamless as possible, and it really is a nice experience.
And of course, that was the project where I think you and I probably worked the most closely because we did invest, I think it was $13 million in half-penny sales tax into that project.
The CITT was instrumental in making sure that project was funded, and instrumental in holding me accountable for making sure that it got completed. So yes, absolutely.
And you made it happen, Dave. So thank you, sir.
We got it.
Appreciate it. We got there. We got there. So any kind of anything new at that station?
So no, right now we're it's status quo at the station. It's we're still slowly growing ridership. The express train is really the one that's been the most successful. If I had more equipment, which eventually we will, we still are working on the rolling stock purchase. That is one of the things that we haven't put a hold on with our current funding situations. But the express train is still very successful. We actually just completed a ridership survey last week, and the customers on that train are extremely happy. The only thing they're really not happy with is that there aren't more of them.
Yeah.
So we hear you, loud and clear, and when we do have the equipment and the ability to do those things, and the money, those are the things that will be taken into account, because it's a great service, it's a great ride, it's a fast ride. And I think we're starting, and the more people ride it, the more people talk about it. We just see that ridership grow.
Right, and most importantly, it keeps you off of I-95.
Most importantly, yeah, it's. I think you only have to do that once or twice. And I've only done it once or twice, and it's not a good experience. But you don't want to do it very often. We try to find that alternative.
And of course, also I should announce that Miami Central now has Central Fares back open, so it's also a great place, to stop for a bite, pre or post train ride, right?
Absolutely, stop for a bite. You can get. I hear the Philly cheesesteak is fantastic.
Excellent.
The tacos.
It's all, everything I've had there is good. I have to give
it's not just a food court. It is a really gourmet food court.
It's
so
nice.
The crepes, it's fantastic,
and a great mix of things. So you go with friends, everyone's going to find something.
And listen, it's like everything else Brightline does, and I know, and now they're my friends, and and they do it well.
They do it well.
And so even if you're not going to take a train, I would encourage someone to go down to the station and just spend some time and
they consider themselves a hospitality company that happens to run a train,
and
right?
they excel and they excel at it.
Just out of curiosity, can you bring the food on your trains?
Oh yeah, people bring food on our trains, and
just keep it clean, man.
We have tables on some of the cars. We have people pack lunches, especially on the weekends. We have a lot of families that come out just to ride trains.
All right.
It's $5. It's $5 you can ride all day on the weekend, and that's. I think it's really important for us to maintain that because that's where people try us. If you're going to work, you might not want to for the first time go, hey, let me go try the train this morning and hold my breath and make sure it's okay. So people come out and they try us on the weekend. And we get a lot of people, doing bike excursions, or they bring their families, or they bring their kids or their grandkids or everybody else out for the weekend. And they come out with a picnic lunch, and they come all these things and they spread it all out. But yes, absolutely.
It's events, right? I think
we do events.
Bringing people down to heat
markets.
games.
We'll take you to the games. And so it really does, it's really a nice family event, and the kids love it. And we try to make that clean, safe experience that you could have, and very family friendly.
Speaking of events, we have the World Cup coming up, and I don't think you're too far from the stadium. Are you working with the organizers to transport people?
So we're our primary point will be the Golden Glades interchange, where we get on calls. Feels like every week, but I think it's every talking about they're working with Broward County, Miami-Dade County, and how can they run those buses efficiently from the different park and rides. We'll be bringing people into Golden Glades and them catching the buses in from there. So we're very excited to be part of that. And then looking forward into the future, we are extraordinarily excited about the new stadium, which will be so close to the Miami airport.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We're
talking about Freedom Park.
Absolutely. And I had a little taste of that when I was in Austin, because they built a soccer stadium right next to the train tracks there, which turned out to be our busiest station. When a game days, it was absolute chaos. There was standing room only. Here we're actually set up much better for it than we were there, because there's 4 tracks at the Miami Intermodal Center, so you can stage and be ready for before and after games. So looking out and looking forward for that, I think that's going to be a fantastic thing for us.
That's brilliant. I hadn't even thought about that. And it's not just
that's why they
a soccer stadium. That's why you're the guy. That's why you're the guy. And I'm just a podcast host. So it's not just the stadium, right? So Miami's going to move its functional city hall there. There's going to be a ton of development. There's housing, office complexes. So it's going to be a major destination.
Eventually, a pedestrian bridge going across.
And that's already your busiest station, if I'm not mistaken.
It's already our busiest station, and it's underutilized, because it never has really kind of reached its full potential.
Sure.
So there are 4 tracks there that are there to be utilized, and we're doing work right now on the escalators to kind of harden those so that we don't have as many issues when the rain comes. So that that'll be done here by the time all that opens up, so that we look at to have a much more pleasant experience down there, so we can make that even better. And I really look for that station to really boom.
So, of course, all these improvements, you mentioned the rolling stock earlier, it takes money, right? And so funding has always been an issue. It will always be an issue, but it's a particularly acute issue right now with your agency. What's going on with the funding?
So, there's a couple, there's a lot of avenues going on right now. So we are in constant conversations with our partners at the counties and FDOT. We've had conversations with the state lawmakers. We've had a lot of commitments and conversations. I think at this point, we're having the conversations on one hand on do the counties contribute more, at what level? We've had now in the state side. We've got to give people time to do the things that they've said they want to do, but it's time, I think, to look at the long-term solution. What I don't want to do is kind of kick a short-term can. I think it's time to find different ways and creative ways, whether it's through zoning or because doing what we're doing now just isn't working. So there's always going to be a shortfall. So the good news is, and I I don't want to sound too cryptic, but I do. But we asked 2 questions right out of the gate when we had our partners on the phone. So there's really 2 key questions here, and we've answered one of them. And the first one was, is TriRail worth saving? That's that is the key.
And that is an emphatic yes
the
from me.
Fundamental question, so. And it was a yes from everybody that were our partners, right? And then the second question is, at what cost? So, and that, that's still the question we're talking about. And then who pays what? So I will say the conversations are moving forward. The number has moved from 0. So and I think that we're moving in the right direction. And no one has stepped in. Well, no one of consequence has stepped in and said, no, we don't need this. Shut it down.
Okay.
There's always going to be people who don't understand the value of public transportation, and that's fine. But no one of consequence has stepped in and said, we don't need this. Let's shut it down. And what we've tried to explain to everybody is and it goes back to we had this in Austin, but even if you are never ever going to get on a train or a bus, if you're on I-95. You want every one of those idiots around you, because that's what you're thinking in your head, right? Everyone around you is an idiot, right? You want every one of those idiots around you on a bus or a train.
Right.
So if we're doing well, that's good for everybody, whether you're going to take a bus or train or not. So that's really the message we need to understand is a good, strong transit system, whether it be us, whether it be Miami-Dade Transit, Broward County Transit, Palm Tran. Our success is everyone's success, because as more people who are riding us, the more it frees up for the rest of you that don't want to do it.
Rising tide lifts all trains, man.
Exactly right. It almost did in Palm Beach County the other day. So
oh, yeah. So what else is going on? Are you guys working on anything innovative in terms of attracting riders? Or, I mean, obviously the major capital projects right now, due to funding, we're kind of placing to the side. But I know you're an innovative guy and you think holistically. So what are some of those things that you're working on?
So there's a couple things we're working on. And, one is we are exploring our fare structure. Our fare structure is overly complicated. We have 6 zones and, so we are looking at flattening our fare structure, whether it's one flat fare, just to simplify things. And I think our fare structure really confuses our passengers. I think that's one thing. But I do really believe that the next big step is the new equipment. I think we've been working on the equipment, we've been cleaning the equipment, we've been wrapping the equipment, we've been doing all those things. But when someone's sitting out there and they see those new locomotives, new coaches, and the ones we're looking at are nice. Like we understand the position we're in, so we're not buying we're not buying Ferraris.
Yeah,
but we're buying
they're
something
not going to be Brightline trains
that people deserve. They're close. Like
really?
they look nice.
Oh,
because you want something that people is a nice and really well thought out. So it's it's amazing how people think of things that I would never even consider. And I remember I stepped on these coaches, and they're very similar to the ones we're buying, and I see a curved staircase, and I'm going, well, that seems kind of, what do you need a curved staircase for? And then they explained to me, well, that's because everybody has a hard time cleaning in corners. Oh. So we curved a staircase so that you can always kind of clean, and you have that very nicer feel, and then cantilever seats, so that you can clean underneath and you're not pushing dirt into corners and things like. I don't think of those things.
Smart.
So, but thank goodness there's people smarter than me. So it's but they're really nice cars, and the locomotives that we're looking at they're top. They're the top of the line that you can buy in America that are American.
Right.
So I think when people start seeing that, and that will entice people to come out there and give us a try. And that's really what we need, is just come out and try us once. And
you'll be hooked.
You'll be back. You'll be back. It's a good ride. We have, our conductors and our crews and our security. I mean, we have really worked very, very, very hard in the last few years to up our level of customer service. Mm-hmm. You and I talked about it before, how Brightline has, we said their hospitality. We're only a mile or two away. We can learn some things. If you stop learning, you're dead, right? So we can learn some things. We can treat people a little better. We can be a little nicer. We can do, so all those things come together. You're going to
have a signature scent like Brightline does at their stations?
We already do.
I
but
find that
so
impressive. Like, really, talk about details. They have their own signature scent.
Sometimes our signature scent's a little different, but we're working on that.
Well, musk.
But there's things we can do, and things that don't cost money. Yeah. We got a letter from a customer the other day that his daughter fell ill on the train. She left all of her belongings behind. It was her ID, her credit cards, her iPad, like everything. And he was just so thrilled that after a couple of days, he was able to get it back and everything was accounted for.
That's great.
Well, part of me was like, wow, have we set a bar low? But it was also nice to be recognized that because he called out the guard by name, the customer service employees by name that were helpful and professional and everything else. And so we went through our stuff. Like, first, you never know who's watching. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't take much to upset somebody, so they'll fire off a comment on social media or something else.
Right.
But you've really impressed someone who will actually write a letter.
Yeah. Take the time.
And take the time to write the letter and send it in. So that was impressive, and it meant a lot. So it was great.
So let's switch tracks, pun intended, for a second. We talked about Brightline. So I know you're in the conversations around the Northeast corridor. So that's, at least in Miami-Dade County, that is one of our smart plan corridors. which would add commuter rail, true commuter rail, to the existing Brightline tracks or FEC tracks, and add multiple stations between the Aventura station and Miami Central. And I know that many people, including myself, would love to see TriRail as the operator of that. Where are those conversations?
Let me take a step back from that. So we would love to be an operator over there. I think that there need to be agreements in place with the host railroad.
Sure.
And everybody, but I do believe, I'll say this. This will be as politically correct as I could possibly be, is that in order for everything to reach its full potential of what was planned. So, the crossover from us into Miami Central Station, it's very low ridership right now, because this has to evolve to a network, right? And like a real transit network and a real railroad, you have to have more than one option. You have the connection down south, have the connection up north at Northwood, and have the true system where you can have the interchange and the interreliability and the capabilities between the two. It only makes sense if there's one operator,
right?
You get the efficiencies in the shops, you get the efficiencies with the crews, you get the efficiencies with those things. So I think there's still, people are still working to restore some of the New Starts money. Like I said, we have a very good relationship with our friends at Brightline. We have a good relationship with our friends at the Florida East Coast Railroad. We want to maintain both of those, and we do. We hope that there's a path forward for both of those where everybody is either happy or unhappy. Those are the best deals, equally, one way or the other. But I think there's a path forward. But that's, I guess, let me leave it there.
Okay. David, if people want to learn more about SFRTA or TriRail, where should they go?
So we have TriRail.com, and then we have SFRTA.gov, which you can go to either one of those. But I tell you, I would encourage anyone to go to our social media pages. We have a Facebook and an Instagram. And I apologize, I don't have them off the top of my head, but our marketing team has been doing a fantastic job recently of going out and interviewing, real passengers and going through and seeing, what does TriRail mean to you? Why do you ride it? What would happen if there was no TriRail? And it's really it's interesting to hear every different perspective of why people ride. There's people that own cars. There's people that don't own cars. There's people who do it for convenience. There are people who used to ride other railroads. There's people who moved from elsewhere. Yeah. And they're great stories. So if you don't follow us on LinkedIn or follow us on Instagram or any of those others, find us I'm sure it's at TriRail or something like, very similar. People know how to look those things up better than I do. But they're great stories, and they are. We've gone from station to station to station, finding people who ride the trains and get their stories. From students to professionals to nurses to pilots to everything else.
I'm sure you've
fantastic
had
stories.
Couples meet on the train. I mean, there's so much that you could drill in.
My predecessor, I think he married a couple that met on the train. So I haven't gotten to do that yet, but I don't think they'll let me do that. But no, I mean, people love trains.
Yeah,
I mean, let's face it, unless you're stopped at a crossing. But my trains are stored. They
go through quickly.
But no, it's. I think we really are. We're vital to this area. We do believe we're the multimodal backbone. We complement Brightline. We complement I-95. We give some relief there. We represent a lane of traffic in either direction. There's nowhere else to build.
Yeah.
There's no place else to put lanes on I-95. So we can continue to improve our service. We recognize the need to continue to improve our service. We have the steps in place. We're making the rolling stock purchases. That's the next step. That's going to make the trains longer, the trains newer, the trains cleaner, the trains more reliable. We get it. We know it. We're working towards it. It's not a fantasy. Like we have the money for that, and we're still moving forward with those purchases.
And I'll leave it at this. It's a critical service, right? And so oftentimes, and it's human nature, people want to focus on the new things, the shiny things. Let's build something, and that costs billions of dollars, just to build, and then you have to operate and maintain it. And we turn a blind eye sometimes to just making sure that we take care of what we already have. we tend to take that for granted. And I think people are taking TriRail for granted, and they shouldn't, because if we were looking to build something new, we'd be looking at building a TriRail. Well, we have it. Let's make sure we keep it, right? And that takes funding. So just to those working towards that, keep up the good work and make it happen, because we cannot lose TriRail.
Couldn't say it any better. Thank you.
David, thank you for being a guest. Thank you for what you do day in and day out. I appreciate you. I think one more time on the program, and we're going to have to get you the 5-timers jacket.
I think I get a T-shirt or
I think this
right?
is your fourth time on the podcast.
Yes.
So I appreciate you always being available and being so honest.
Absolutely, my friend.
All right. Folks, that's all the time we have for this episode. If you want to learn more about our organization, the CITT, please visit our website, miamidade.gov/CITT. And of course, you can follow our social media channels as well, either at Transportation Trust or at GoCITT. Until next time, folks, keep moving, Miami.